Men are not the problem. There was a recent conversation on my mastermind that I just thought I would talk about really briefly here. And it's not to pick on this one client because this is something I've heard many times before. And that is that all men are douchebags. All men are the worst. Men are the problem with my love life. Have you ever said that before? And you probably have. And both men and women say that. When I used to coach men, what would they say? Women are the worst. All girls are the problem. I keep meeting the wrong women. And the problem with this statement is a few things. Number one, it's not true, right? There's clearly evidence of this not being true. Clearly not all men are the problem. Clearly there are good guys out there. And if you truly believe that all men are the problem or all men are douchebags or whatever it is, you probably have some type of psychological disorder or you've never met a decent man. I mean, there's someone in your life who is, a good guy. And so it's a false belief, it's a false narrative that you are giving yourself. And the second problem with saying something like this is that it removes all of the responsibility from you trying to fix your own challenges in your love life, and it puts it onto something external. It removes all responsibility from yourself and puts it on someone else. It's kind of like if someone says like, oh, I'm not able to lose weight because of my genetics. I'm just predisposed to be overweight and I just can't do it no matter what. My genetics are the problem. And the only reason I can speak to this is because I used to say things like that. When it comes to different things in my life, like certainly with food, right? I just happen to be cooking lunch. That's why I want to think about this. And yes, I am cooking salad to not be hypocritical. And the moment that you actually take a look at these types of beliefs and instead being like, oh, it's a problem with genetics and start thinking, you know what? It's a problem with me and all the shit that I'm putting into my body, all the food and all the junk food and all the Sour Patch Kids I keep eating. Once you just take personal responsibility for everything that you do, all the decisions you make, suddenly, guess what you can do? You can start changing it. It's wild. And certainly with diet, I used to tell myself that all the time. Oh, I'm just predisposed to be overweight. I can't do anything about it until I started thinking, you know what? Let's take a real look at the calories that I'm taking on a daily basis. Let's take a look at my exercise routine. And let's own this problem rather than try to externalize it. And I always try to do that with our clients. Anytime they start to externalize their problems and say, all the problems are the men in my area, or there are no good people, there are no single people here, all I'm hearing when someone says that is they are removing the responsibility from themselves onto others. And they're basically saying, I have no control over this. Now, it's not to say that there aren't douchebag guys out there. There absolutely are. Just like there's bad food that you can eat. But it's always a choice. It's always a choice the types of people you surround yourself with. There's always a choice of the types of men you go out with. It's always a choice the types of men that you date. And what I want from this video is rather than going around thinking to yourself, all men are the worst, all men are douchebags, I hate all these guys, think to yourself and ask yourself the question, what am I doing in my love life that might be causing this? And I know this is not going to be a very popular video, which is why I wanted to get in this very weird pose and talk about this so you don't hate me too much, for those of you who are going to hate on me in the comments anyways. But the reality is that the only way to actually make changes in our life is to take actual personal responsibility. And it's not fun. It sucks. It actually sucks to take a look in the mirror and say, I am responsible for every relationship I've ever been in. I am the common denominator of every relationship I've ever been in. I am responsible for every person I've ever dated. And it's not to say you're not going to go on some dates with guys that are the worst. You're not going to go with some guys that only want to sleep with you. You are. It's going to happen. But you have a choice at that point of whether or not to take responsibility and start avoiding these types of people, to start being able to learn about the signs that a person's not right for you, to be able to really explore other options with different people before just diving in immediately when you meet a guy that you really like. You have a choice over all those things. So hopefully, if you ever find yourself with that narrative that all men are the worst, and I get it, trust me, when bad things happen in our love life, we always want to externalize it. In many ways, I want you to think about your own responsibility with all of this. And one thing we always say in Love Accelerator that I want to end this video about is this: the point of this is not to be self-conscious, okay? I don't want you to feel self-conscious. I actually want you to be empowered. And rather than be self-conscious, I just want you to be self-aware. And that's what this is all about. It's just being aware and realize that you have total control over your life. You have total control over your love life, total control of what food you eat, and you have total control of the types of people you date. And so hopefully I didn't just reinforce this narrative that all men are the worst with this video. So leave a comment right there below. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this. If you've ever said this, and if you've ever been able to just kind of reframe that thinking, take personal responsibility, and make some real changes in your love life. And if you enjoy videos just like this, my home right here, I want to make them a little more raw, a little more unique for you guys. So give me a like, give me a subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you want a little help in your love life, head on over to lovestrategies.com. All right, bye.